What is good? I mean, what is really good, my people? It is UK, trying to brother dr.blick, the darkest man around, and I'm here with D3. It's been a long freaking time, bro. Where have you been?
You know, I've been chilling in the back with the hose and with the chicken and the Kool-Aid, so that's what I do. You know, man, you know, in all honesty, it's a pleasure to be here. It has been a while, so thanks for inviting me on. It's totally a pleasure to talk Dragon Ball with you, man.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've spoken Dragon Ball on my channel, but today we are going to be discussing Frieza's return, and not only that, we're going to be saying whether it should have been Cell or whether bringing Frieza back was the right decision, and whether taking out Majin Buu was actually a good idea, because a lot of people wanted Majin Buu to stay, including myself. But D3, what's your overall thoughts about this?
About Frieza in particular, or?
Yeah, Frieza. Let's start with Frieza.
Well, I understand it from a marketing perspective why they are choosing Frieza to come back, because he's one of the most impactful Dragon Ball characters and one of the most profitable ones as well. So that's why he keeps making comebacks. And of course, you know, a very minor comeback for him that people don't really talk about is simply the inclusion of Frost, right? Because Frost is basically a Frieza counterpart. He's on the same race from a different universe. So it's almost like you bring back Frieza when you bring in Frost. So I understand from that perspective. From the story perspective, I mean, I think that it could be really hit or miss, because of course there's the motivation for Goku saying, hey, we have this situation, we need your help. But of course, it's like, you look at it in hindsight, why the hell would Frieza help Goku? You know, what possibly, because Goku's going around basically lying to everybody at this point, saying, hey, you're going to get, you know, what, 10 million Zenny or whatever it is. And he doesn't have no damn prize money, so I don't know how that's all going to work out. But what can he legitimately offer Frieza? So it's just kind of weird. But I do like the potential in a different regard of, like, the possible interactions that Frieza could have, which I don't know if Dragon Ball Super will actually, you know, capitalize on that, because that's something that I always kind of look for them to do, but they kind of somehow don't do it. And I felt that way about Trunks coming back and certain things like that, little intricacies that he could have had as far as conversationally with other players or other characters, excuse me. It just didn't happen. So I'm kind of on the fence, if you couldn't understand. I'm on the fence. I think it has purpose. Do I think there could have been a better option? Possibly. Could it be something that wides out being something that could be cool? Sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And like, when the news of Frieza returning came out, I was like, wow. Like, him back again, I was like, wow. And I had this thought the moment that they were picking the team that they could have actually implemented Future Trunks into this. Like, Future Trunks didn't have to go to that random timeline. He could have been in this tournament when you really think about it. He could have been a part of the whole mix of this. Like, he could have stayed in their time zone, if you know what I mean. Like, he could have stayed there and fought with them in the tournament. And that would have made it a lot easier than bringing back Frieza. And one of my main issues with it is the person that they're taking out. Like, seeing Majin Buu fight, like, in the whole preliminaries, that was dope. I like Majin Buu. He's a cool character. The jokes that he comes out with, like that one time when Goten and Trunks were like, "What's that smell?" and he just comes out and go, "I farted." Like, I like Majin Buu. He's a cool character. I like him a lot. I just don't like the fact that they just don't know how to use him. This man has probably one of the best set of abilities in the whole entire series. They just don't know how to use it. They legit don't know how to use it. They could have easily taken out Master Roshi. People like Master Roshi, but people admit that he shouldn't really be there, because I don't even know if this guy can still fly. Like, if he can fly at all. Like there's a lot of issues that people have. And what's your standpoint on Frieza replacing Buu, like D3?
I didn't want that to happen at all. I wouldn't have cared if it was even Tien. I wouldn't have cared if it was anybody else other than the Saiyans or Buu. Like, I wouldn't have cared if it was any of the Earthling characters or androids. But, you know, I feel like part of it is they really wanted to show off some of these characters because they haven't had a chance to do so. And of course, obviously, this is Toriyama's story. He probably really has a special place in his heart for characters like, you know, from the original series, right? Like Ten Shinhan and Master Roshi and Krillin. So I can understand from that perspective. It's just like, you have this character in Buu, and I kind of talked about this in a recent video that I did, not to plug it, but, you know, the thing about Buu is, you know, aside from the potential that, you know, Toriyama wanted to include these characters, we don't know his whole thought process in that, as far as kicking off Buu, or who even came up with this idea. It could have been somebody else, but that's another discussion. The thing about Buu is that he's kind of, and you saw it in the exhibition match, he's kind of hard to truly incorporate, because the guy is so OP. Like, his abilities, his skill set is just, there's not really a way to combat that. He's basically tireless, right? He's going to be able to tank through anything. He regenerates, he can heal. I don't know if there's a way to actually beat that guy. Not to say he's unbeatable, but in a tournament setting, he may just be a little bit too OP, and I think that's probably why. But I really wanted to see Boo because we kind of got jerked out of a situation where he could have participated in the previous tournament, the Universe 6 one, but he falls asleep, and, you know, to add insult to injury, he falls asleep again, and I didn't like that because, you know, in the previous tournament, the Universe 6 one, he obviously said, hey, Mr. Satan, you've been there for me, and I want to do this for you. You know, I'm going to fight for you and all this stuff. I think he said he's going to try to win the wish. So he had a motivation there. And then you have Boo this time around, who was present for them to say, hey, we're going to destroy all your universes. Or at least I assume that he would know about that because Hercule does. You know, he should have motivation to participate, but it seems like he just doesn't take anything seriously if he falls asleep. And that's a kind of like a bad thing because they keep using the same excuse for him, and I don't understand where that's all going with him. But I mean, what can you do? I really wanted to see Boo. I would have loved for them to drop somebody else off, but hey, I mean, they just want to show off these guys, and this isn't the only time they've done that. They've shown off all these guys in Resurrection F, so I assume that's why they came back too, just to kind of give some of these really old characters some spotlight, because for the large majority of Z, they were basically non-factors. And, you know, it leads to issues with scaling, but, you know, it's mainly the show's fault for allowing Goku and Vegeta, and to some degree Gohan, to get so much stronger than every other character in the series, to where you have to come up with BS excuses for reasons for them to be stronger or for characters not to be present. So, I don't know. I wish it was Boo that was there, but, you know, apparently we're going to see Master Roshi out there molesting people, so that's cool.
No, but, like, with Boo not being there, like, it really made me upset, and it made a lot of people upset. A lot of people wanted to see him in the tournament. And like you said, he is OP in terms of skill sets, but with the way they're quote-unquote trying to make this tournament, it's more about you getting someone out the arena. Even though Boo has probably the best arsenal, he could just turn people into candy, just toss them out,
basically,
or do something like that.
He's got too many tricks.
Yeah, but like, it just annoys me because like Boo, like, he would have just been so cool to have. Like, everyone wanted him. Like, I know you said about the whole, like, characters being like from like Dragon Ball and characters that we have massive history with. But like, what about characters like Android 17? Like, we don't have history with it. We've only seen that guy in one arc, and then they bring him back, and we get Boo kicked off when Boo in reality has probably been in the series, like, been in more episodes than like 17 as a whole.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So like, seeing that, it kind of made it a downer. But yeah, that's my standpoints on Boo. So when people say that Cell should have been in there instead of Frieza, like, what's your overall thoughts about that?
I think Cell's a cool character. I think a lot of that stems from, you know, people wanting to see a different villain return. I think people have accepted that a villain will return and play a large role or semi-large role in Dragon Ball Super, but they just want to see somebody different. I don't really know in particular if Cell is a better character for the job. Of course, Frieza would be stronger, and there are other things that come along with Frieza being the character that you choose, such as the possible interactions there, like Frieza meeting Frost and other things. And Cell just seems kind of far and away, you know, detached from the main cast at this point. You know, I don't really know how much better it would be in particular if Cell is the character that they show up with. But I think a lot of people just kind of, like I said, want to have a different villain and want to see another character actually get a chance to get spotlight. Because at this point, out of all of the marketable, you know, Dragon Ball canon villains at this point, Cell's the only one I think that isn't, you know, around anymore, hasn't come back since his series. You know, Boo stayed around.
Unless you count filler.
Yeah, of course, yeah, filler. And Frieza came back in Super for a whole arc. So it's like, Cell's the only one, so I think that there's this thirst for Cell. But I just, as far as it goes, you know, people need to remember the main reason why, and it sucks, but the main reason why Frieza continues to come back is because he's marketable. He makes money. I don't know if Toei and, you know, the people involved in the property really have faith in Cell's ability to do that. You know, sell toys for Cell. Although it would be cool to see like a new transformation for Cell, like a golden Cell, which some of the people have talked about. Anything, you know.
Cell X.
Yeah, yes, anything. Oh yeah, isn't that the one from Dragon Ball Heroes or Online? I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that because that thing looks pretty.
No,
monstrous.
that was ugly as hell.
Yeah, that thing looks pretty monstrous. But still, like some sort of transformation or change for Cell would be cool, and it would allow you to basically rebrand the character and create him anew. That's kind of what they did with Golden Frieza by having a new transformation on this old character. It basically refreshes his character as far as his marketability goes. So I don't know. I think Cell would have been cool, but there are other characters just in between Cell and Frieza that I thought would have been cool. Like if you're gonna do that, you know, a character could have been like Pikkon. I think Pikkon is a character that a lot of people really enjoy. Once again, I don't think he comes to the level of Frieza as far as being marketable goes, but there's just a few other characters in there that could have potentially come back, and we don't know how this will turn out, right? Like at this point, we don't know if Frieza will even say yes. We don't know what's gonna happen, but there's a couple different ways.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, one of the reasons why most people want Cell, like the way I see it, is that Cell will be easier to convince than Frieza, based on Cell's personality. Like, his overall aim was to just like test his strength, test his perfect like form. Like, he has that gene, that thirst to fight, so he would have been a lot easier to convince than Frieza. But with Frieza, you got a better character overall. I know a lot of people may think that Cell's a better character, but Frieza has a better personality overall. The interactions with Frieza that they could possibly have in terms of comedy elements will be amazing. With like Goku like joking around with him, that would be jokes. And Frieza getting pissed off and stuff like that. And his interaction with Frost, like all of that stuff would suit better with Frieza, and it will make more interesting conversations rather than Cell himself. But like Cell will be more convincible, like it will be easier to convince Cell rather than to convince Frieza, just based on the personality. Like convincing Frieza is gonna be very interesting. Obviously I feel like he's gonna join, but convincing him is gonna be very hard. Like, what could Goku possibly offer in 24 hours to Frieza? Frieza don't care about money. Like, what could he offer? Like, that's one of the biggest questions that people are gonna like freaking ask. Like, what could Goku offer to Frieza? And like, of course everyone's gonna object, but it's really interesting that they bring back Frieza, and it really does make people want to know what's gonna happen next. But like, they should have left Fat Boo, bro. Like, everyone wanted to see Fat Boo. Fat Boo has an exciting like style, but I understand. But yeah, you got anything else to add?
I do not, man. I feel like we basically brought up everything that needed to be brought up. So thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. Like I said, it's always fun.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like, you need to stop disappearing, bro. You freaking come back every freaking 20K you gain.
Not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're like, new phone, who dissed?
I always got a new phone.
Bro. No, but anyway, guys, if you're watching this video, you probably already know D3. If you don't, go out there, subscribe, and vice versa if D3 ends up uploading this on his channel, which I'm not
possibly
sure.
May.
But anyway,
if I do, you guys subscribe to Blick. The link will be down there.
Yeah, I see that jump in subs. Like, oh, D3 uploaded. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below, because I want to know what you guys think about this as a whole. And yeah, let me just wrap up this video. So please comment and subscribe. I know I say this all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, please hit the like rating if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, this UK Chocolate Brother will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys. Peace.